Staying alive. Staying alive, staying alive. We can tell you use my welcome, woman's man.
No time to talk.
You know, you do that and you instantly get women wet. Staying alive, staying alive. Well, it sounds like a parrot having an asthma attack. So I found a very strange fact. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Alfred Hitchcock was scared of eggs.
His cock was scared of eggs?
No. Hitchcock is scared of eggs. You're supposed to make it a pun.
You know, I tried to make it a pun, but apparently nobody was feeling it, so. Do you guys want to do, like, improv exercises?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Okay, Logan said no. His vote matters more than everybody else's.
His foot matters more than... Well, of course his feet pics matter more than anybody else's.
I still should have made an OnlyFans when I had my swollen foot.
Just a bunch of pictures of your swollen foot.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you guys and what cool things you were up to this weekend, but I am now a roller skater boy.
He was a skater boy. I still see you later, boy.
I thought you were about to say, I am now a slut.
Well, that too, but I got my skating legs.
Did you call him a slut?
No, I said that I thought he said, I am now a slut.
He's already that, so it's fine.
This is true. But now I'm a slutty skater boy.
Okay. All right. So actually one improv exercise. This is 1 minute life story. I don't know what this is. No context needed. I'm not going to think about it. Banjo, go. Give us that 1 minute life story of you being a skater boy.
Okay. Well, I went to a roller rink this weekend, and I put skates on my feet, and I didn't fall immediately, but my butt feels fantastic. I'll tell you that. It's essentially my whole life now. I've become a skater boy. I've paved the road for a future skater boy self, and it's all I can be now. 2000s R&B rap music and disco lights and roller skates. This is my life now. I am the skater boy. That's all I got.
He's gonna end up on a fucking list.
Do you still have like a couple?
Yeah,
still
it's
have
not
a couple
working.
of seconds.
My fucking brain is shut off. That's all I need. That's all I need. I don't need any more. That is my life now.
So actually, the purpose of this one was for the listener to hear it and then repeat back as much information as they could about the skater boy 1 minute life story. And I've got to be honest with you, I don't think I could repeat back or shit on that one. So
I don't even think I could myself, and I'm the one that said it.
I'm upset that you didn't wear short shorts.
Did you not wear short shorts?
Who said I didn't?
Were you wearing your wife's bikini?
You damn right I was.
All right, good.
It was flowing in the wind.
For kids.
Teenagers were high-fiving me. Parents were shielding their youngins' eyes as I constantly had to dig it out of my cheeks.
Did you have an LGBT flag that you were flying as you were skating?
Yes.
Yeah, between his ass cheeks.
Between his ass?
Yeah, holding the flag.
It was in between your butt cheeks. It was just flying in the wind back here as you were skating by. It was like that Tarzan meme where you got it in between your butt cheeks.
Yeah.
You got enough of an ass that you do that.
It was fun. No, we actually went to my sister-in-law's birthday, and she wanted to go to a place called Skate Estate. Essentially, it's a roller skating rink. And I strapped on my roller skates. I rolled around. I watched my kid slam him to the floor a few times as he tried to get his skating legs, failing to do so. And then left after about an hour, drove around for about an hour to try to find a stroller because we were allowed to put youngins in a stroller and push them out on the skater rink floor. And then when I returned, we had about an hour left, and then he was sitting in that stroller while I was turbo going around as fast as I could because he kept screaming at me to go faster while he had his hands out in front of him, acting like he was driving a car going, meow, meow.
Aww.
He was having the time of his life. People were going by him and high-fiving him and everything, and he was just having a great old time.
Imagine if Skate Estate was just a bunch of estate agents on rollerblades.
Yeah, Skate Estate. It's just realtor agents out there skating, shredding those wheels.
Trying to like see if you get a house and all you see is an estate agent falling down the stairs.
Do they need health insurance or homeowners insurance?
Yes.
My child smells like eggs, and I don't know why.
Was he bathing in egg yolks?
Possibly. He just had a very strong scent of eggs.
It's to repel Alfred Hitchcock. Oh my fuck. Never mind.
Use your words.
I was trying.
It was to repel Alfred Hitchcock.
Why'd you have to enunciate that so much? Like Hitchcock.
If I didn't, I would have been like.
Okay. So I guess related to the game that we played this week.
This was some pretty fucked up shit.
Yeah, I mean, it did leave you with a lot of like emotional scarring. Was there any adventure that you've been on that has caused you like
Emotional trauma?
Yeah, emotional trauma, some serious stress. Like, what's your most, if you're okay with sharing and not reliving such a horrific experience, what's like an adventure that you went on that left you with like some serious stress or, I mean, even emotional trauma?
Camping with my uncle.
Oh no.
I'm just kidding. Don't. I'm sorry.
Well, I have one. I guess this is relevant. So I'm terrified of heights. I'm terrified of things that go too fast. I've been to Six Flags 2 times in my life. The second time that I went to Six Flags, my friend had talked me into riding in the front of a roller coaster. And this was a roller coaster, I think it's called the Riddler or the Mindbender. It just, like, it was the Mindbender, and then they changed it to the Riddler when Batman came out. And it's one of those old school roller coasters where you sit down on the top and you just have a bar across your lap, and then it goes through 3 different loops. And my friend talked me into getting in the front row. And I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. As we were going up, because, you know, you go up the slope first, and then it kind of pauses at the top, and then you go down, and then the first loop happens. Well, as we're going up and we stop, my friend is like, oh shit, it's broken. We're going to die. Signal panic attack. Luckily, I was already like this with my hands crossed over the lap bar because I fucking passed out as we were going down the first slope, having a panic attack. I woke back up as we were coming back into the station. So 3 loops and a little bit. I woke back up, and then they were like, okay, well, are you ready to go ride another roller coaster? I'm like, no. I just fucking had a panic attack and passed out. I lost consciousness.
Holy
So
shit. Wow.
I'm not ever gonna go to Six Flags again.
Kind of like that kind of reminds me of one of my trips to Michigan Adventures, which is like our local amusement park. You reminded me there's a ride there called the Ripcord. It's essentially just a giant swing where they strap you down like you're laying down, face down, in this harness, and then they have a tether hooked up that's like 200 feet in the air or something, and then they just bring you all the way up to by this other post with a pulley, and then you have to pull the ripcord, and you just free fall for a moment, and then the tether catches you, and you just swing back and forth until eventually you stop gaining momentum, and then they bring a crane up or whatever to grab you and then get you out of your harness and then bring you down.
You have to get out, like, up on the crane, and then you're not in a harness anymore, and you come down with them on the crane. Hell no.
Yeah, it's fucked up. But we signed up to do this, and I was with a couple of friends.
Are you crazy?
And we were like, I was like, whatever. At that time, like, might as well, you know, end it all now. So
YOLO.
Yeah, exactly. So we went and signed up, and we were supposed to be the next people in line. However, what happened was somebody had gotten off the ride before us and had stolen somebody else's wallet when they were getting ready for their ride. So they had to shut down that whole area and do a search of the park to find the person that took the guy's wallet, which turns out to be an honest mistake. He had grabbed the wallet out of the wrong bin. His wallet was still there at the ripcord, so he ended up having to go back and swap wallets and everything. However, what the problem was this delay had created a gap in time for this ride to have gone. So seagulls had come into the area by this like pond, because when it comes down, when you start to go back up, you're actually going over this giant pond that's in the area. So like, you know, if the cord broke, you're probably going to drown or something. But you know, so that it prolongs the death, the good stuff. So when it was finally our time and I got on there, the crane brought us up, they got us harnessed in, and then they pulleyed us all the way to the top. And we're overlooking, like, we're at least 50 feet above the highest ride, the Ferris wheel, in the rest of the park. And I am terrified of heights. They wouldn't let us pull the ripcord right away because they had to wait for the seagulls to leave the area. So I'm trapped up there in this harness, facing straight down about 150 stories in the air, or 150 or 15 stories in the air. Sorry, about 150 feet in the air. And then overlooking this Ferris wheel, and I'm staring at the Ferris wheel to try to gain some leverage without looking straight down, singing Small Town Girl at the top of my lungs to keep my sanity.
Aww. And at that point, you have no adrenaline left. It's let your adrenaline trickle away, so you're just terrified.
Yeah, and it was my job to pull the ripcord because it was all three of us in there, and I was the one that was supposed to pull it, and I wouldn't pull it. And I shouted, like, over the intercom, like, they have like a speaker box of them. And they're like, all right, go ahead and pull the ripcord. And I was like, no, let me down. They're like, okay. And they disengaged the ripcord for me. And it immediately started our free fall in the ride. So I was like, please bring me down. They're like, okay. And they just activated the ride.
They'll just do it for you. Good God.
They just did it for me. Because apparently that was the only way to get you down. It scared the shit out of me. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, yelling at all the people that were passing underneath the ride to never do this if they valued their lives.
Oh,
it was terrifying. I'll never do it again.
Logan, do you have any story like that?
No, because I'm not a stupid piece of shit.
Well, that's my traumatic story. Logan calling me a stupid piece of shit.
This is the worst adventure ever.
No, it was actually, funny thing was, it was a little bit the opposite for me. Now that we're on the topic of theme parks, my dad really, really tried very hard to get us to actually ride rides that, you know, normally we wouldn't, especially as young kids. If we were old enough and tall enough to ride, he tried to get us to ride roller coasters. And I hated this so much because I hated roller coasters. I didn't enjoy them at all. They scared the fuck out of me, and I had no interest in doing anything with them. And my dad made me. So we went to Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri, and we rode, I can't remember what, I think it might have been a ride called Thunderation or something. There were a bunch of rides like that. And this was a roller coaster, and this was scary as shit, where you like go through loops and upside down, and it was awful. I hated it. I didn't want it. Because I'd seen too many incidents of people, like, you know, there've been like video incidents of people falling off of like roller coasters, and I'm like, I'm not about this. But my dad made me. And then after I got off the ride, I was actually kind of excited because I was like, hey, I really actually enjoyed myself. And then I went back on that ride. But I never went on another roller coaster again, just because I was kind of forced to do it. And I don't know. I didn't like that at all. It wasn't about what I wanted. It was about what my dad wanted at the time.
I understand that. Every time I go to any kind of theme park or fair with my friends, everybody tries to pressure me into getting on a ride. And I'll always be like, these are the rides that I will ride. Nothing else. It doesn't matter how much you beg. And without fail, every time we go past one of them, they're like, oh, come on. Well, you're just going to have to sit out there by yourself. I'm like,
I am fine with that.
Yeah, I am more than okay with that.
Luckily, I'm married to a woman that is just like, I don't want to ride any roller coaster. So, speaking of traumatic experiences, welcome to the Joysticks and Lunatics podcast, everybody. We're so happy that you're here, and we hope you enjoy yourselves. Take a seat, grab a glass of wine. My name is Overpowered Peaches.
I am your skater boy, BanjomanDudeGuy.
I'm guinea pig poop.
And I have killer diarrhea that's making my stomach bubble.
Also known as
The ChubbyNerdLogan.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
The new Batman villain, the ass bubbler.
Yeah, the ass bubbler. Oh
I had
god.
Chinese earlier and it's not agreeing with my stomach.
Well, of course, because you're Scottish.
What's that supposed to mean?
You're not Chinese. You had Chinese food. It's not compatible.
Is it like dog food and cat food?
Yeah, it's like that exactly. If you're a cat, you eat cat food. If you're a dog, you eat dog food. If you're a human and you try to eat dog food, it doesn't agree with you because it's not compatible.
What we all have to understand here is we're making assumptions. He never said he had Chinese food. He just said he had Chinese.
True.
All right, I am exiting out of that conversation before it gets any worse. So, what game did we play this week?
Brightest Sex Dungeons.
brightestsexdungeons.com /BDSM / go directly to jail.
Flashing lights, neon straps.
Roller skates.
Yes. Disco balls.
Yep.
Roller skate sex.
Disco ball anal beads.
That'd be great. Little anal beads that are little disco balls, and they're all reflective.
Yeah.
And then when they come out, they're like little shitty mirrors.
No. With anal beads, it's more than one. It's
Listen, you might be pulling those out just a little too fast. Just saying.
maybe that's what it's supposed to be like, cranking a lawnmower or something.
It's not like
trying to go trying to make me spin around like a fucking Beyblade.
How many of them are in?
it's like a meter. It's like a meter stick. It's just like. They call this one the machine gun.
God damn it.
I'm
Okay.
so sorry to derail that.
Okay, well, Logan, what actual game did we play this
Darkest
week?
Dungeons!
Yay!
But we weren't that happy when we played it.
I like how excited we are about to talk about this game. We're like, Darkest Dungeons, and then silence. Nobody said anything.
Just crickets.
Who was supposed to go into the, who was supposed to introduce the game?
Logan.
Me.
Oh, okay. Well, do your fucking job, damn it. He introduced the game. It's Darkest Dungeons, and then just fucking, I did my job. I'm leaving. I'm just out of here.
I got mine. Bye.
Shut it all off.
But yeah, the game that we played this week was Darkest Dungeons, and it really lived up to its name because there was nothing good or like happy about it. It was just dark, gloomy, depressing, and everything. Like the most color, the brightest color you'll see in that game is green. A moss green.
I don't even remember the green. Oh, the emeralds. Yeah.
But yeah, the developers are Red Hook Studios and Sickhead Games. I don't have any backstory on Red Hook Studios. Also, Roxas, stop talking while eating food.
I do, because I'm going to be doing the development. So I have information on Red Hook Games and Red Hook Studios.
I've got the 411 on the studio.
I got the 411 on a lot of things. Dildos, anal beads, lubrication.
My collection includes 411 of
Okay,
them.
who the
Dude.
fuck's running about? Because all I hear is thump, 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 thump.
That
thump,
is my
thump, thump,
fucking
thump.
neighbors messing around with the truck.
Can I continue, please?
Yes, you may.
Mhm.
But yeah, the designer is Tyler Sigmund, and he actually did a lot of design for card games. He did a few for Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and for his latest board game called Crows. He also did a lot of design work for Age of Empires that came out on the Nintendo DS. I'm not sure who would have played it.
I didn't play the one on DS.
I never played the one on DS.
I haven't played any. The publishers are Red Hook Studios and Merge Games. The platform is everything but Android. Yes, this is on iPad as well.
It's typical. This is not our first game that's been like that.
Yeah.
The release date for the game is January 2016, but the final release date didn't come until February 2018. Yeah, so the first release date was for, obviously, Steam and the Kickstarters for the full release. And the February of 2018 release date was for the final release on the Xbox. So yeah, how do you feel, Xbox users? This reached iPad before it reached you.
I guess X is boned again.
X is not going to give it to you. But yes, the genres are role playing and dungeon crawler. I wasn't sure what else it could have been. Like, obviously, it wouldn't be a fucking horror survival.
Psychological thriller.
Depression simulator.
My life simulator.
Yeah.
Basically, this game is single player unless you get one of the DLCs for it, which gives you a PvP combat system where you can battle your friends online with the team that you have made. But none of us have fought each other because I doubt we got very far in the game because this was just depressing. Everything just died.
Including my inner child.
I couldn't even get any characters to level 2.
What was the rating and reception on this one?
The rating was actually very good. Even during the reception, it released a 9 out of 10 on Steam and 92% on Humble Bundle. But during the reception game, when it first released for the launch party, it received many good reviews from the general public, from reviewers, even the media, such as Metacritic gave it an 84 out of 100, and IGN stated that it's an awesome game, yet cruel game of tactics, even though it can shift from fun, exploring, to cruel.
Instantly.
I will say this, it's a little bit like D&D. If you get hit when you're at 0 health, you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Red Hook Studios said that after a week of the game being fully released on Steam, sold over 650,000 copies, including early access and from the Kickstarter fund, which led to a version being released on PlayStation 4. They had a version wanting to come out for the PlayStation Vita, but the Vita kind of, lost its thing back in 2017.
Yeah, I liked the Vita. I'm really sad that it just kind of fucked off and died.
It was just PSP.
But it had a touch screen.
So did a PSP?
PSPs didn't have touchscreens.
Yeah, they didn't have a touchscreen.
Unless it was like the PSP Go or something. I thought maybe that had a touchscreen.
Yeah, there was another one that came up, but
that was a little slide one that had its controls hidden underneath it.
But yeah, think about it. This game must have been very popular if it sold 650,000 games within the first week.
And there's some information on that in the development as well.
Yeah, plus this is an indie studio.
Mm-hmm.
Well, was. Plus, with I'm pretty sure Darkest Dungeons 2 just came out this year.
I have to look that up.
I think it comes out later this year.
I guess it depends on when you're listening to this.
Hello, fellow aliens.
Hello.
Okay, Red Hook Studios. This was an independent game studio based in Vancouver, Canada, that was founded in 2013 by, I'm going to butcher these names, Chris Barasa and Tyler Sigmund. And it was established based upon a shared goal of original games that are beautiful to look at with solid mechanics. So these two became friends while they were working for a studio called Backbone Entertainment. I didn't find a whole lot of information on Backbone Entertainment, but I didn't think it mattered all that much. The Backbone Entertainment was just where they worked at the time. They became friends through that. And, Darkest Dungeons was basically their game to highlight the psychological stress of adventuring that, typically RPGs don't really do stuff like that, except for something like Undertale, which we all know very well on how that game fucks you over. So they were trying to come up with an idea for a game. They were brainstorming a lot, and they came up with Darkest Dungeons, one of their first games that they made. This was launched in February 3rd, 2015. After its Kickstarter in 2014 had earned $313,000 of its $75,000 goal. And it's, I think the 2015 release was its early access release. And it was basically an instant hit. It got #1 bestseller on Steam. So this did really well. And it exited early access on January 27th, 2016, and launched for the PS4 in September 27th, 2016. And the first DLC released was the Crimson Court in 2017. And then later DLC releases was the Color of Madness in 2018, and then the Butcher's Circus in 2020. So this game started out as a tile-based game where you can move 4 players around a level at one time. And it was a top-down view. And then later they turned that in. They gave you more of a combat mode to work with. And the two, Chris and Tyler, they decided that it would be boring to look at icons of the characters' heads all the time, and they opted more for more of a side view, so you can relate to these characters even more. And that was probably the fuel that gave them the idea to give these characters like actual psychological effects as they're going through these dark dungeons.
To be honest, I think I would have preferred the top-down view.
I don't know. I think that the side view is pretty simplistic, but it kind of works.
Yeah, it worked pretty well, I thought.
I think it's because we haven't really experienced the top-down view for it.
I feel I can relate to these characters and move them around a lot more. Like, I don't know, just the attacks feel a lot better. And I'd say that's basically about it for the development. They just took a lot of influences from a variety of other games and media, from stuff like Aliens and Band of Brothers, where the characters were basically, they were changed by the combat that they experienced. Like, it gave all these adventures, we have fun with them on games, but they can actually leave lasting trauma in a person. And it was also obviously like a lot of it is very Lovecraftian horror. As soon as you open up the game, you basically see Cthulhu. So, I mean, right then and there.
Plus, the witches get to summon like tentacles and shit. What was it? Eldritch Portal? Something like that?
I do not know.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of like Eldritch attacks. Like I was getting hit by like Eldritch Pull or Eldritch Push, which manipulated the positions of my characters and stuff like that.
And it put you under more stress.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Darkest Dungeons 2 was announced in 2019, and it was meant to be an improved version of the core combat system. It would include a transition from 2D to 3D. Is expected to launch in early access in the first part of 2021.
Well, clearly that's a lie.
I don't know. This virus has done a lot to games that,
Oh yeah, it's fucked up a lot of things. Plus, game development is just really fucking hard. You're basically on the edge of technology constantly. It's almost like you're driving a train while laying down tracks in front of it as you go.
There is a game like that.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Guinea story, go!
it.
All right.
No context. Don't think. Just tell us a story.
Just go. Just tell a story.
Once upon a time in a land far, far away.
Yay!
An ogre named Shrek fucked another ogre named Fiona, and their parents got mad.
Because they were brother and sister. Sweet home Alabama.
It's because the dad wanted to fuck the ogre. That's why.
And they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop
Don't
coming,
stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming.
Okay, go. Story time.
All right. An ancestor of the player, voiced as the narrator, was apparently a fucking terrible ass person. He committed lots of crimes, and he dabbled in dark magic. That's
a word.
He committed lots of crimes and dabbled in dark magic in search of forbidden knowledge and power. He was selfish and greedy and obviously didn't give a shit whether or not his actions affected anyone else. In his arrogant pursuits, he went digging through the dungeons and catacombs beneath his manor. This uncovered all sorts of evil things, monsters and evil creatures that you couldn't dream of. The unearthed corruption cast a terrible blight on the entire land. At this point, after having unleashed all of this evil, the ancestor is still searching for the ultimate power to quench his terrible thirst. He keeps digging and searching until he's finally at odds with the power that he is unable to tame. After learning of the corruption that the ancestor has unleashed, the townsfolk revolt and come after his greedy ass. Realizing that he done fucked up, this selfish motherfucker kills himself to escape the consequences of the mess he made. Not before writing a letter urging his progeny to clean up his shit. Now the task is upon you and your selected crew to save the estate and the surrounding lands. This game is about making the best of a bad situation. Some quests will have to be abandoned. Many heroes will die. You will go mad trying to survive. Good luck.
Well, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Good luck.
Then I guess I'm up. Now I'm going to be talking a little bit about the gameplay here. Now you fellas and lady, please interject at any point in time in which you feel that I did not cover a certain area well enough. I tried to be as thorough about this as possible, but I know that there's probably different aspects of the game that we've experienced separately. So you may have a little bit more insight on some of the stuff that I don't maybe cover all too well. But in this game, you control a wide variety of adventurers to explore the dungeons and fight creatures. Before going into the dungeon, you visit the town that offers several different things like recruiting new adventurers, buying rare items, visiting the dead adventurers that got killed during your adventures and quests, going to the tavern or church. I called it church. I didn't remember what the actual name of it was, to help relieve stress that your adventurers had come across in the dungeons. And you can upgrade your adventurers' weapons and combat skills, or you can visit like the God damn it, the hospital / whorehouse to cure disease or affliction. I believe
go to the whorehouse to cure disease.
I believe the brothel is actually part of the tavern where you can get your dicky sticky to help relieve some stress, but not part of the hospital. But I mean, according to these notes, I mean, their word is gospel, right? These locations unlock and become available throughout the game based on how far you are or whatnot.
The wrong kind of doctor.
Yeah. So you only have access to certain...
It's time for your oral exam.
Oh, no.
Okay, go on.
This truly is the darkest dungeon. So the town, before you actually enter into the dungeons and embark on your quests, have all these different locations in them, and they become available to you as certain after you've done certain quests or you've proceeded in the game far enough, certain locations unlock. After you're ready to embark on your quest, you select up to 4 of the adventurers that you have recruited, and you buy items you may need for your quest. These items include things like torches, you get shovels, you get rations because sometimes your adventurers get hungry and eating kind of helps heal them as you progress on your quest. Shovels are items that can clear obstacles as you progress. And then you got torches because the darker the light, the more stress and sanity you lose on your adventures. So it's always good to have a nice supply of rations and torches. But once a quest starts, you must complete the requirement or forfeit and flee the quest. Your adventures have health and stress levels you have to keep an eye on. If the adventurer becomes too stressed, they become inflicted with negative traits. And if the stress bar fills up a second time, then they can ultimately basically have a heart attack and get put on the brink of death or at death's door. They gain stress through battles, encountering traps, finding items that have a negative impact on them rather than loot, and even forfeiting and fleeing a quest can cause the stress of defeat for them. If an adventurer's health falls to 0, they're not dead right away. They fall to the brink of death or they become at death's door, but any additional damage that they take could be their last. If they fall in battle, they are permanently dead. And this game auto-saves like a motherfucker. So there is no like, oh no, he died, might as well quit the game and start it back up to get my guy back. Nah, it's too late. Like, they're dead. It's gone. It's over. This game is a side-scrolling dungeon crawler where you progress through the levels, mostly moving to the right. You encounter traps, obstacles, and things that contain loot, such as chests, bags, caskets, things like that. You also encounter battles. Battles are interesting. They're turn-based and require a bit of strategy because your adventurers are in a line in 4 positions. And some need to be in certain positions in order to use certain skills. Some of them cannot attack when they're in the front lines. They have to be able to attack from the back of the line. And some of them are, vice versa. Or some of them can attack while they're in the front, but they can't use like their healing abilities unless they're in the back of the line. So you have to try to think about what position in line you want them to do and what position or, well, like depending on what you want them to do, you have to make sure that they're in whatever position that you want them to be in. And when you're outside of combat and you're just moving through the dungeon, you can move them in any order that you want. But if you're in combat, usually they can only move about 1 space at a time, forward or backward, and they shift that spot in line. And when you do that, it typically uses their turn. And with this being a turn-based combat, you basically are surrendering a turn in order to get them into a place where they can attack the next time their turn comes around. And it could be very vital to your survival to try to get them to line up before you enter into any sort of combat. After a quest is complete, though, all the items you purchase in the store are sold back, along with any treasure that you've come across to increase your gold. You have to be careful on what items that you want to take from things like loot stashes or from enemies, victories and stuff like that, because you have a limited amount of space in your inventory. So all the items that you decided to keep towards the end of your quest get transferred into gold, except for things like trinkets and heirlooms. Those stay in their own little banks, and they're essentially like dedicated currency, and you use those to upgrade different places in the town, like being able to increase your character's weapons and skill damage and things like that. Or the recruitment, where you recruit people, it can increase the amount of people that you can recruit, increase the amount of people that are available in the bank that could possibly be available for recruiting, things like that. So you ultimately want to collect as many of those as you can so that you can upgrade your town so you have a better chance of survival in the long run. There's a lot.
There is a ton to this game. There's some different mechanics that I noticed with the different items, with the different places like the tavern and the church, and the certain characters that you get can only sort of recharge at a particular area. So if they need to do away with their like stress, they have particular places that they need to go. So like a crusader, more like a man of God, needs to go and pray at the church in order to get rid of his stress. An archer or a rogue or whatever goes to the tavern and gets their dick sucked, and then they've just released to their stress there. So I mean, different characters sort of have different ways to release their stress, but that's all I can think of that.
And when you when you actually dedicate somebody to getting their stress relieved, whether it be in the tavern or the church, they're gone until that whole situation gets taken care of. So you need to have more people in your party so that you can have those 4 people to send out on quests while the other ones are busy de-stressing from the previous quests.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get a pretty large bank of people.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I think most of my enjoyment from this game is discovering the fucking meme page for Reddit of this fucking fandom. Yeah, I had a cleric on my team who was just like full for healing, and she wouldn't, de-stress at the church or the tavern. It'd be at the whorehouse.
Yeah.
And I had I would say a rogue or a hunter on my team. He wouldn't go to church, he wouldn't go to the whorehouse or the tavern. I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with you?
Just let him die.
Oh, he did in the end. That ended my stream.
Logan, why don't you go into your experience? Because you streamed it, right?
Yeah, for like an hour because everything just died on me. Not my computer or anything, just every single character I had. I kept on getting like critted after crit after crit after crit. It was like a very horrible fucking experience. Like, I love the game, nevertheless. Like, it's very beautiful, very artistic, and all that shit. And like, obviously, you can add items to the characters to kind of buff them up, which I never really understood about the artifacts that you got. But obviously, like, one thing you missed out was like using, I'd say, the scrolls and shit that you found to upgrade like taverns and the cart so you can get more adventurers in. But yeah, by the end of my stream, like, all my fucking characters were dead. I had nothing left. Like, obviously, I started off like just wondering, yeah, this knight and this rogue is actually pretty fucking badass. And then like, my entire team got replaced by a fucking plague doctor.
How appropriate.
Yeah. But like, I had a plague doctor, a cleric, the knight, and the rogue. And like, obviously I used the cleric for healing and long distance attacks, same as the rogue. But the plague doctor does seem weak, but if you throw blight grenades, or what I call plague bombs, they like do small poison damage that can lead up to like hundreds of poison damage within a few turns if the enemy is like stunned. So it's just perfect. I give this 8 out of 10. Would be better if I was better. I did hate the fact that like when your characters get really stressed, it just looks like they're about to go insane, and then dialogue happens between each other if you have like say firewood to create a camp. You just have dialogue against all each other. You can use the abilities of one another to heal each other, but basically if you don't have rations or anything, you like just lose more health. It's a good game otherwise. I'd just say get it on sale.
Probably best. It's honestly a really good game. Because I'm not usually one for RPGs, but
Says all this podcast when all we play is dungeon crawlers and RPGs.
well, this is okay. So this is turn-based role-playing game. So honestly, I'm not one for games like these, but I mean, this was super fun. I love this sort of twist to it as well, where each of your adventurers, they get some sort of psychological effect from adventuring. What happened with me was, I don't remember her name. I got this girl with like a giant fucking club, and eventually she got like selfish, like a psychological effect called selfish, which means that anytime you approach an item, she'd be the first one to open it, and so she would get the item. So if it was health, she would be the one to heal. If it was whatever it might have been, if she needed to like cure herself of darkness or something, she would get the holy water first. So she would just try to take everything. She was greedy, very, very greedy. And so that can kind of fuck you over because she will take health even though she doesn't need it. She just takes it first and it doesn't matter. So would you find it just right off the bat? But overall, the experience was pretty good. My big brute, my guy in front, he's basically about on death's door. So he's about the first one I'm going to lose here. So, I mean, I'm going to have to tearfully say goodbye to him because he was badass. He hit crits really like most of the time. He could take out enemies along with I guess he was a female barbarian or something. It was so fucking cool. And there's just so much about this game that, I mean, yeah, it's sad, but I'm jaded enough, I think, that I can overcome that.
Did you guys ever come across a paladin?
Nope. Just fucking skeletons and bullshit like
no,
that.
No, like the paladin that you can recruit is like tall, has a broken sword.
No, I didn't.
Nope.
No, not yet, but I think I will soon.
He died easily.
I really enjoy the mechanics of managing your characters, making sure that they don't go crazy, you know, relieving their stress by either a dick suck or whatever else they need. This motherfucking cleric is still praying at the church right now, and my crusader needs to pray to relieve stress. So this motherfucker is just in the way. That's another mechanic that I encountered, that some random characters or NPCs can be in this slot where your character needs to go to relieve stress, and it just makes it to where you can't use that character for like a couple more dungeons. You have to wait until somebody's out of the way. And that's something that I experienced. Fucking the man of God over here, just gonna kick him out.
And it's mostly at the church.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's because he's spending all night at that brothel.
It was always the brothel for me.
And pray to pray the gay away.
Yeah, he's Catholic.
So yeah, that's about my experience. I would honestly give this an 8.5. My rating would be higher if I actually probably got further through the game. But honestly, for what it is, I think it definitely deserves the attention that it got when it was first released. I'm actually surprised that I didn't hear about it until now, because it was just such a huge game. But I mean, I've just never seen or heard anything about it. So
let's see. I fucking hated this game.
Wow.
No, hold on. Let me give some context to this, because it's not a bad game. Like, I actually enjoyed the game for the most part. I mean, I liked the combat, I liked the strategy, the turn-based elements and everything like that. I don't have problems getting stressed enough on my own, let alone have a game force me to be even more stressed out for my characters. I'm very prone to anxiety, so this game was having me holding my breath constantly in combat, trying my best to make sure my characters don't die, because I cannot stand permadeath in a game, because it makes me feel bad for the fake fictional character in a video game.
You must be fun playing Fire Emblem.
Oh God, no, I don't play Fire Emblem because of that. It's like, I'm like, oh God, what about his little ones and zeros family he has in his fictional life? They're going to be so sad that he just got murder balled by a skeleton man. And it's my fault. I told him to do it. This game like stressed the shit out of me. But I played it for a good solid 2 hours and got pretty good in there. I actually, because of my stress, never let a single one of my characters die. Not one of them has died yet. Yeah, because I was constantly freaking out.
So it just means that you're good at RPGs. That's all it means.
No, it means I'm stressed beyond belief. I'm surprised I have hair left.
I don't believe it.
It is a good game. It like you said, it definitely deserves the hype that it received. I love the art style. The aesthetics is really well done for the type of game they want this to be, which is a very dark, kind of depressing atmosphere. They do a really good job of that and conveying that through the visuals. and the sounds. I really liked that at the end of a mission, it's not like some happy fanfare or something. It's just long, drawn out, kind of sad music, because these people are not coming back as heroes as much as they're coming back as like depressed individuals that just risk their life for greed, essentially. You know, like it's really good. Like, how far are you willing to push these people to do your bidding? You know, and they do a really good job of showing off their stress and stuff. I like when they get their full stress bar over, they can either be invigorated by the stress, or they can be more likely inhibited by the stress, where they'll receive certain debuffs like being fearful or feeling hopeless or things like that. And then that dialogue shows all those types of things in there. Like, there was one quest I had to abandon because I essentially had like 3 front people and 1 healer. Yet the 3 front people all got overly stressed and gained like fearful or hopeless. And no matter what, if I tried to move them up closer to attack, they actually moved back and forced my healer all the way up to the front, where they couldn't do the healing. They ended up having to do the frontline attacking, while the other guys were just getting marked and blighted and bleeding and dying. And they're just screaming like, no, not me, or death is upon us and everything. And I'm like, I can't do anything. They're all so stressed out. They will not move forward when I tell them to move forward. They're trying to hide in the back. So I actually ended up having to abandon a quest because of that. And then they became even more stressed. And one of them almost died because he had like an 2 full meters of stress. So I ended up having to leave him at the church to get bled out. So his stress would literally get cut out of him. And it was funny because like on the side where you see your roster of characters, when one of them is actually in one of those areas and they're being de-stressed, they'll sometimes have dialogue bubbles pop up alongside their screen. And he was saying like, yes, bleed more red, cut me deeper. And I was like, what the fuck is this game? I would give this game I'd say an 8 out of 10. It's a good game. It's very stressful when you're playing it, especially if you don't want your characters to die. And I'm very prone to stress. So I had this edge of my seat, constant stress playing this game, but I did enjoy it when I did play it. So that's what I give this game.
Genny?
Oh, it's my turn. Okay. So my experience with the game, I did enjoy the game. I thought that it was a little difficult, though, at the very beginning, just because I feel like the user interface is not very intuitive. I probably sat there for 5 full minutes trying to figure out how to start a fucking quest, like just to go. There's not very many tool tips or whatever to tell you, oh, do this or oh, do that. You know, they have the like little exclamation points on each building, and you click on the building and then it tells you what that building is for, but it doesn't tell you how to do things in the game. So I sat there like trying to figure out, how do I go? I was like clicking on the sanatorium, clicking on the whatever, trying to make that let me go. Like, I just want to fucking do a quest. And it took me forever to realize that you hit, I guess, embark on the bottom, but then you have to buy food and torches and tinctures and laudanum and all kinds of stuff. Once I got that down, it was pretty okay, though. I just felt like it was a rough start, and it would have been very easy to just put it down and not, you know, just be like, whatever, I don't get this game, it's too hard, or whatever. And then that coupled with, once you do start going, it is a little bit difficult trying to strategize if you don't really understand, you know, like all the little stuff, the little stats underneath. There's a glossary at the beginning of the game that tells you what that's for. If you don't already know what it's for, you don't really know exactly what all the attacks do and everything like that. So I just felt like it was a little cumbersome to get into. However, I did have a good time playing it. I also played it for a little over 2 hours. I also haven't killed any of my characters yet because I have like 12 of them and I keep rotating them out. I like the aesthetics. I like it's uniqueness. I like how it has the stress of that they're like veterans instead of heroes, and I think that's kind of neat. I think overall, I've been trying to decide if I would give it a 7 or an 8 out of 10. I feel like gameplay, I would give it an 8 out of 10, but since it's so cumbersome, maybe 7 out of 10. So I enjoyed it. I'm gonna keep playing it. It's cool. It's a cool game.
Oh man, just to kind of go a little bit on that whole non-intuitive UI, I was playing this on my laptop with a controller.
I tried playing it with a controller. I couldn't.
Holy shit. Like they give you all the tooltips. They have all the buttons on there. Like you can see if you push the right trigger, it'll do certain things, or left trigger. But the tooltips never told you how to do anything with the actual controller configuration.
Yeah.
So I had to figure all that shit out on my own. And then like when you're actually in the dungeon, in order to proceed from a room to choose a path that you wanted to go to, you had to tap on the right stick. And here I am pressing every fucking button trying to figure out how to go. And you had to select what direction by tapping on the right stick and all that stuff. And it took me a little bit to get used to. Eventually I got to the point where I could use the controller, but I almost gave up on the controller and went to the keyboard mouse. But I didn't actually have a mouse. I would have been using the touchpad.
Yeah.
And that would have been just infuriating. So I stuck it out and figured it out.
Good. I started with keyboard and mouse, and then I decided I just wanted to try it with a controller, and I've played around with it for maybe 5 minutes. I'm like, fuck this. I don't understand anything.
Yeah, it was a disaster to figure out. For sure.
You guys make it sound like that was a chore to play it with keyboard and mouse when it was so easy on keyboard and mouse.
It was way better to play it on a keyboard and mouse instead of playing with a controller. The controller was impossible for me. I could not do it.
All you need is WASD and your mouse. That's all you need.
You don't even need WASD. You can click to make them go. You just need your mouse. I just wanted to play with the controller so I could like lean back and get like get comfy in my couch and not have to be like, like a fucking little golem.
I managed to figure it out, so it worked out pretty good. Now I can continue to play it with a controller now that I know it. But if the game offers controller support for the PC, then if you have the controller in there, the tips that it gives you should tell you actually how to utilize the keypad rather than just telling you how to click on shit with your mouse or something like that.
Right.
It would be better if they actually changed those helpful hints to be helpful.
Right. Or if in the controller settings it just told you what it was on your on your controller. I think that the problem is it doesn't actually have controller support, but you can use a controller with whatever Steam or whatever the launcher that you have does to automatically map it to the keyboard. That's just my assumption, because whenever I went to the settings, it just told me the settings for all the keyboard stuff, even if my controller was connected. So. Oh yeah,
but the only thing is the game offered controller support not just through the launcher, because you'd actually see on the UI it would say B to exit out of this window, A to interact with this, hit the right trigger, hit the left trigger. So it actually showed like visual.
Showed you?
Yeah, it showed visual cues on that for me. That's how I was able to figure it out.
Maybe it was because I didn't start the save with the controller. Maybe
that's possible.
Yeah, because I started it with a keyboard and then decided to try a controller. I don't know.
All in all, pretty good game. I would suggest anybody that's interested in this kind of thing, dungeon crawlers with a little bit of a psychological air to it, I'd give it a go. I'd play it. It's fun, but it is kind of expensive. I mean, because I was actually thinking about buying the port that's on the Nintendo Switch, and it was $25 for the base game. So it depends on how badly you want to play a game like this. I mean, on Steam, it's not terrible, I don't think. I think it's still $25 on Steam, but you'd probably have a lot better luck actually using a keyboard and mouse to play it if you played it on the computer. But there is a lot of DLC that is available for the game, and that can get kind of pricey as well. So it depends on how much you want to invest in this. This isn't a game that you want to drop $25 on if you don't think it's a game that you're actually going to like, and you're not going to give it a lot of time into. But all in all, I would recommend picking it up. Maybe pick it up on sale if it's something that you're interested in. But if this all sounds fantastic to you, and you want to support the developers, then go ahead and buy it at full price. But keep in mind, it is 25 bones.
Yeah, don't do what I do. Like, I haven't even started Monster Hunter Rise, Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm not even I'm not even an hour through Final Fantasy VII. I get games that I start them, don't finish them.
I do the same thing. You know, like Witcher, Dragon Age.
I have over 1,100 games in my Steam
Yeah.
library. Guess how many of them I've played?
2.
You guys are very close.
Yeah, because you still haven't played your fucking birthday present from me yet.
No, I haven't. I haven't gotten to it. Well, there you go. Do the thing. Play the game if it sounds interesting.
Okay, so we're playing Titan Souls next week.
Yes, next week we are playing Titan Souls. Titan Souls is a game that I've played for a good amount of time. I've beaten it.
Nice.
I'm beating it. It's not an easy game to beat, so keep that in mind when we play it.
I thought you were about to say it's not a fun game. I was going to say, why the fuck would you suggest it then?
No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's developed by Acid Nerve, an independent development company that I don't know if they've done. They've done a game called Death's Door.
I've heard of that game.
What is this? I've never heard of Death's Door. It looks fun, but it's not out yet. It's not coming until summer of 2021.
This looks a lot like Hyper Light Drifter.
Oh,
I remember
Titan Souls?
playing that for my channel, and I think you reviewed it as well for your channel.
I did review this game for my channel a long time ago.
And both channels are dead.
Hey.
They're just asleep.
Yes, exactly.
They're in a coma, possibly irreversible.
Jeez, man.
So, in this game, I don't really know a whole lot about the story. I didn't really get too invested in the story because the story is ultimately one that you kind of figure out during the second time you play through the game. Mainly because in the game you play as a character that comes into this world. You don't really know exactly what they're doing, why they're there, but they're fighting these titans. And you have a bow and arrow. You have a single arrow that you can shoot. All enemies die when you hit their weak spot with a single shot. You also die from a single hit. You have an ability to recall your arrow. So you can shoot your arrow. If you miss, you can pull it back to you. But you have to wait till you collect it, either running over it and collecting it that way or summoning it back to you slowly to get your arrow back. But there's like stone tablets and stuff in there. And there's also like a titan that doesn't move or do anything. And he talks to you as you're climbing him to get to the top of him to kill him. And he's speaking in a language that you can't understand. But after you beat the game for the first time, you can play it again for the second time. And then all that dialogue you can now see. And it actually is in English. So you can see all the stuff that's going on and actually understand the story a little more. I actually think it's a pretty interesting take on the whole thing, you know, because the game can be very short. If you time your shots correctly and everything, you can get through each boss very quickly. I think there's like 13 titans total in the game, if I remember. Might be a couple more. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure there was only 13. But it's just a nice little pixel art, top-down, 3/4 perspective video game where you just run around and try not to die because you were very squishy and die very quickly.
What is everybody's predictions on this game? Who wants to go first?
I predict all you won't play it till the last minute.
Whatever.
Oh, that's not the case. I am hellbent on beating this game a second time before the next podcast. I am super excited about playing this game again. I really enjoyed it the first time, but it has been a long time since I've played it, at least a few years. So I'm looking forward to getting back into this and in just investing a significant amount of time into playing this game.
Games like these really wet my whistle.
I think it looks really fun. It reminds me of the NES game Life Force with some of the difficult looking puzzles. I really like stuff like that. I think I'm going to like it.
Oh yeah, speaking of puzzles, Alan Sharp got delayed.
No.
Oh no.
Alan.
I had heard something like that.
Yeah, so I think they're just going to release Chapter 0 on the 29th.
29th?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's when I'm going to try to stream that.
So basically an extended demo.
Yeah, but the full Chapter 0 with, like, you know, her following you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for this week's episode of Joysticks and Lunatics. Thank you all so much for listening. We really mean that. We do this for you guys. And if you made it this far, then thank you. Thank you for sticking it out to the end. You can find links to all of our social media on our website at www.joysticksandlunatics.com. You can follow us directly on our Twitter if you want to keep in touch and see all whatever things that Logan's up to, considering how he never remembers to change Twitter accounts when he's doing his personal stuff. And that is at JoystickLoons, LOONS. You can follow all of our individual Twitter accounts if you wish. Mine is at BanjomanDudeGuy.
Mine is at OverpoweredPeaches.
Mine is at Guinea Pig Poop, PEEG.
And mine is at TheChubbyNerd1. I only post about depressing shit now.
What a journey you've been on.
I don't know, it changes like once a week.
You know, it's like the weather in Missouri. Just wait and it'll change.
Like, to be honest, I've had like a few people ask me if that's how my like actually snapped, because I retweeted a video of what happened at the UFC fight. Like the fighter just snapped his leg. Like, that's how my leg went. But mine went in a more, shitty way.
And you didn't make millions of dollars afterwards either.
No.
Yeah.
I just got made fun of.
The only thing I made was made fun of.
The only thing I made was shit in my pants.
Oh.
All right. Thanks again, everybody, for listening. We are going to peace out.
Peace out, peeps, my homies.
Thank God we're not in North Korea, because we might have nuked out. But I'm dumb.
What the fuck does that even mean? All right, I don't even want an answer to that. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Say goodbye, Logan.
Ha!
There's that goose getting fucked in the ass again.